For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Transform the look of your home with 11% off all garage doors at Menards. Choose from our wide variety of colors and styles. Or design the perfect door for your home at Menards.com. Get this 9x7 garage door for $399.99 after rebate. Keep your home's exterior protected with Cedar Creek vinyl siding. This low-maintenance siding withstands the elements and comes in 16 colors ready to install. Get double white vinyl siding for $499 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Live on NBC 12, this is News Watch 12 at 5.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 5. I'm Dan Hagan.
And I'm Jessica Jukic. If you've ever gone out ice fishing, you probably have seen a tip-up, and now recently you may have seen them in your local tavern.
A group in Tomahawk has shrunk the ice fishing tool down as an easy way to get your bartender's attention. News Watch 12's Kyle Pazorski joins us now with more. Kyle?
Well, Dan and Jessica, earlier this week I visited the Tomahawk American Legion during their monthly meeting. The people I spoke with there say that the cute and quirky idea is a fun way to help raise funds to fix up their more than century-old headquarters.
It's a novelty for year-round.
What started as a quirky idea has turned into a way to help save an old building in Tomahawk.
We thought it would be a great fundraiser.
The Tomahawk Legion and Auxiliary have made more than 1,000 of these tip-ups, an ice fishing-inspired way to get your bartender's attention.
Over and there's a suction cup that fits on your glass. And when you want another drink, you just spin it and the tip-up goes up.
Think of it this way. When your drink is running low, raise the flag on your tip-up. Then when your bartender comes back around, they'll notice your tip-up and get you another drink. Legion Auxiliary President Carol Mueller says the tip-ups have taken off, with now 17 bars and restaurants putting them to use around the Northwoods.
It's unique, and it's been catching on. Snowmobilers loved it. Ice fishermen loved it. Everybody loved it.
It's all in support of getting their home base on Wisconsin Avenue fixed up to serve the next generation.
The kitchen that we have is very rudimentary.
Legion Adjutant Tom Peterson says the building they call home is in need of some tender love and care, hoping fundraisers like the tip-ups will help get the money they need.
It's our responsibility to maintain it. And it's our responsibility to make it available for future generations.
The plan is now to raise money for an outdoor beer garden, walk-in cooler, new bathrooms, office area, and an expanded meeting hall, all done to make the century-old building shine like new again.
And it's going to be a challenge. It is a challenge. But we have members here that are willing to do it. Oh, I'm so excited about it.
The Legion is asking for $5 donations for the tip-ups. Their total fundraising goal for the renovation project is around $300,000. Reporting in the studio, Kyle Pazorski, Newswatch 12.
What a great fundraiser idea. Thank you, Kyle. Jeff, a sunny, clear day out there.
Almost 12 hours of daylight today. Sure felt good, didn't it?
Well, that is nice, but there might be some snow, right?
There is. There's a storm system coming our way for the weekend, most likely trending across parts of southern Wisconsin, though. So for us, we could get by with just a few flurries on Saturday. Look outside now in Park Falls. It's showing off here. Some cirrus clouds out there. We are melting some snow across the entire area with temperatures up near 40 today. Right now, we're at 39 in Rhinelander, 41 for Merrill, also for Wausau. So it's comfortable out there. The average high is 41, 42. Many of us are doing that today. We'll also do that tomorrow in spots. All right, so lots of clear skies out there now. The white stuff you see is actually snow on the ground across parts of Wisconsin, and there's a lot more of that off to the west, of course. But our next weather system is over there. Dan alluded to this. There's a lot going on here that is moving our direction generally, but it's taking a trending southward on this one. So likely across southwestern parts of Wisconsin into southeastern parts of Wisconsin on Saturday. Could see some snow. For us, though, around here, most likely just a few flurries. Our forecast then tonight, though, is mostly clear skies and cold with low temperatures down near 8. Your full forecast is coming up. Jessica.
The Tomahawk Police Department arrested 2 people after a drug distribution investigation. The department executed a search warrant at the home in the 200 block of Hillcrest Drive. 2 adults were taken into custody, 41-year-old David Fish and 34-year-old Crystal Dean. They were taken to the Lincoln County Jail on felony charges of maintaining a drug dwelling, possession of methamphetamine, and manufacturing and/or delivery of THC. A misdemeanor charge of possession of drug paraphernalia was also placed on both parties. Fish was also wanted on a probation warrant. Multiple other items of evidential value were removed from the home, and there's more possibility that more charges could be filed.
A law enforcement drug unit in northeast Wisconsin saw a spike of 4,400% more fentanyl seized during 2022 compared to 2021. The Lake Winnebago Area Metro Enforcement Group says fentanyl is the #1 threat to the Fox Valley. The unit covers counties surrounding Lake Winnebago and includes cities like Appleton, Fond du Lac, and Oshkosh. The Wisconsin Department of Justice reports the unit seized 6,300 grams of fentanyl in 2022. They say a lot of fentanyl is seen in counterfeit prescription pills. According to Drug Enforcement Administration testing, approximately 60% of seized counterfeit prescription pills contain a lethal dose of fentanyl.
Industrial and wastewater facilities will soon have an easier way to work with farms to reduce pollution. Under the Clean Water Act, factories and wastewater treatment plants, or point sources as they're known, must obtain a wastewater permit that limits the release of certain pollutants into the waterway. States are also required to address non-point source pollution, which means it doesn't come from a single source, of which agriculture is the biggest contributor. But the practice of water quality trading allows treatment plants to compensate farms for cheaper ways to decrease pollution. The process allows for the trading credits, which represent pounds of phosphorus, which will be reduced within the watershed. Now, state agencies have contracted a company to operate a clearinghouse that will facilitate those trades. The clearinghouse will serve as a one-stop shop for decreasing phosphorus in waterways that can fuel algal blooms and potentially harm public health and property values. This will make Wisconsin the first in the nation to have a statewide clearinghouse for water quality trading.
Today, the Department of Workforce Development released preliminary employment estimates for the month of February in 2023, showing Wisconsin's unemployment rate dropped to a record low of 2.7%. In addition, total non-farm jobs increased by 7,500 over the month of February to hit a new record high in the state of nearly 3 million jobs. The total jobs number puts the state's 3,400 jobs above pre-COVID-19 peaks. Wisconsin's record low unemployment rate of 2.7% for February is down 0.2 percentage points from January's rate and beats the previous record low of 2.8% set in January through April of 2022. Nationwide, for the month of February, the U.S. unemployment rate was 3.6%, with a labor force participation rate of 62.5%.
An Athens man is facing criminal charges after allegedly exposing his genitals in a Wausau coffee shop drive-thru. That's according to court records. A Starbucks employee reported a man in the drive-thru exposed himself to her as she handed him a coffee. Using surveillance footage, police identified the suspect through NASCAR and political stickers on his SUV. 40-year-old Daniel Punk was arrested on March 15th after deputies found him in his vehicle at the Rib Mountain Walmart. He's facing misdemeanor charges of lewd behavior. A pretrial conference is set for April 19th.
A group of Republican legislators are pushing to extend Medicaid coverage for some of the state's poorest mothers for a full year. The bill would allow low-income mothers to stay on Badger Care Plus for a full year after giving birth instead of only 2 months afterward. It is unclear if the legislation has enough to pass both chambers of the Wisconsin legislature. The bill was authored by 4 Republicans, including Senator Mary Felskowski of Irma and Representative Donna Roser of Marshfield.
Governor Evers is talking about plans to expand Badger Care on the 13th anniversary of the Affordable Care Act. Today, Governor Evers delivered the Democratic radio address about his proposal to expand the health care program in his 2023-25 biannual budget. He says that expanding Badger Care would provide health care to nearly 90,000 Wisconsinites, including 30,000 who are uninsured. The proposal would save Wisconsin more than $1.6 billion over 2 years. Governor Evers says he would use that money to reinvest the savings into telehealth for kids to talk about mental health disorders or treatment for substance use disorders. Last July, inventory for southern Wisconsin housing market started to drop.
It wasn't far before that trend headed north. The Northwoods started seeing fewer houses on the market within the 2 to 3 months following. It has remained steady since then. That's according to a local realtor, Christy Schneider of First Weber. Schneider says that affects a variety of home buyers.
There's a big swing in price points from single-family homes for people that live and work in the Northwoods to people that come for recreation purposes.
David Clark is a professor of economics at Marquette University. He analyzes monthly data for the Wisconsin Realtors Association and sees some issues down the road with the housing shortage.
One of the challenges that communities might have is the inability to attract workers because there's insufficient housing for them to live in.
Clark adds that the demand issue is partially driven by millennials and Gen Z buyers on the market, and in the Northwoods, where people buy vacation homes, that trend is even worse. More home listings usually appear in the months of April and May, so only time will tell if that could happen. It seems like a problem every spring, high school athletics being delayed because of lingering snow, but in Rhinelander, it's no problem.
Coming up after the break, we'll hear from Saul Meyer, who's taking in some softball action at the Hodak Dome. That's after Weather with Jeff, right here on Newswatch 12.
Get the absolute best pricing now during Ashley's anniversary event. We've marked down everything to match online prices, all backed by our 30-day price guarantee. Get your choice of 6 months interest-free financing or low monthly payment options and free local delivery, only at Ashley.
Sheriffs like us from around the state are supporting Daniel Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Justice Kelly's opponent, Janet Protasewicz, is a Milwaukee County judge with a long history of letting dangerous criminals back into our streets.
Directly undermining the work of our officers and putting your family at risk. We can't afford to have judges who put their own agendas above the law. It's time we start prioritizing justice again, not politics.
Vote Daniel Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Been daydreaming of campfires or time on the water? Start your summer plans by joining Schroeder's RV and Marine at their 28th annual open house, March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd. They have over 300 boats and campers available. Shop the best deals on the best brands at the biggest RV and Marine dealer in the Northwoods. Join us at Schroeder's RV and Marine for the 28th annual open house, March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd. See you there.
Quantrill Bounds punches a 12-year-old girl, forces her to perform oral sex. He films the heinous act, posts it on Facebook. 12 years old. Any rational person would want this guy behind bars for a long time. Not Judge Janet Protasewicz. She showed sympathy for him, released him back onto the street. Imagine this for your daughter. Janet Protasewicz's judgment isn't just flawed, it's dangerous.
Celebrate Ashley's anniversary with our lowest mattress prices of the season. Get your best night's sleep on Purple, Tempur-Pedic, Serta, and more. All backed by our 30-day price guarantee and special financing options that fit your budget at Wisconsin's #1 mattress retailer, Ashley.
There you are. Welcome back, my friends. All right, some clouds out there early today gave way to nothing but clear skies and thus lots of sunshine out there today. Temperatures responded nicely with highs back up near 40 today. Currently, we're in the 30s back in Rhinelander with a west wind around 5 and a dew point there of 14. Very dry air locked in place right now. Over in Wausau, 41 for you. Under bright sunshine with a west wind around 8, making it feel slightly cooler out there right now. Okay, so around the horn, temperatures are hanging out in the upper 30s to mid-40s. We'll take it. The average high is 41, 42. Most of us got really close to that today, and thus We'll do it again tomorrow. There's that average high of 42, the average low 20 now. But look at that record high is 70 a long time ago, back in 1910. And the sun sets later on at 7:14. Precipitation-wise, there it is, 96.9 inches of snow so far this snow season, giving us 5th place currently. And we could add a little bit of snow to that this weekend and beyond. Okay, so going forward temperature-wise. So 41 tomorrow with lots of sunshine again, but a bit cooler for us on Saturday with lots of cloud cover as a system passes to our south and east on Saturday, likely lingering into parts of Sunday with highs near 40 again on Monday. Some good signs now of cooling off a bit Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And in fact, all the long-range guidance now suggests slightly cooler or below average temperatures for the last week of March and the first week of April. I know lots of you don't want to hear that, but we will turn the corner at some point, just not on the radar quite yet. What is on the radar, though, is lots of snow on the ground across parts of central Wisconsin right now. The satellite and radar picture can see this. But overall, we have clear skies tonight. That's a problem because, you know it, radiational cooling, the clear skies, light winds, still a heavy snowpack will give us low temperatures in the single digits tonight. But then our attention turns over here. There's a lot going on over here. A storm system right there across the Four Corners area. That's going to travel to our south and east on Saturday, Friday night into Saturday, likely bringing a couple of flurries as it passes by on Saturday afternoon. So for right now, it's all kind of getting going. The clear skies for us right now. But then look what happens. It's kind of making a path towards southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Likely if you're traveling Milwaukee back to Madison and Rockford, Chicago, they got something going on Saturday. For us, though, maybe just a couple of flurries around here. Our forecast then for tonight, though, is lots of clear skies and cold with low temperatures down near 8 and a northeast breeze around 5. For tomorrow, it's Friday, lots of sunshine tomorrow, high temperatures up near 41 with a southeast breeze around 5 to 10. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by North Furniture and Mattress shows us really slight chance for a couple of flurries on Saturday. If you're traveling south, bigger impacts there. Sunday we're quiet, Monday we're quiet, Tuesday quiet, and then Wednesday's our next chance for snow with a high temperature of 34. Dan and Jessica.
Thank you, Jeff. It's opening week for high school softball here in Wisconsin, with many teams across the state playing their first game of the season.
However, there is still snow on the ground in our area, so many teams are having to adapt to the conditions. One way to adapt is to play where there's no snow on the ground at all, inside the Hodag Dome, which is where Newswatch 12's Saul Meyer is right now for the first tournament of the year. Saul?
That's right, Dan and Jessica. It's no problem here in Rhinelander for high school softball. One of the first tournaments of the year is happening, and it's all thanks to the Hodag Dome. This day is one of 2-day tournament with games starting tonight at 6:30. And in those games, we'll see Lakeland Union taking on Kingsford, Michigan, and Rice Lake taking on Marshfield. Then in the second round of games, we'll see the Hodags take on Boyceville and Clintonville taking on Goodman-Pembine, with those games scheduled to start at 6:30. We'll have continuing coverage throughout the day from this tournament. But for now, reporting here live in Rhinelander, I'm Saul Meyer, Newswatch 12.
Thanks, Saul. Road construction season is coming up, and engineers are eyeing up future projects. Oneida County is looking into improving a portion of Highway L in Nokomis outside of Tomahawk. Their proposal would include work on the 6-mile stretch of County L from the Lincoln County line north to Highway 51. The only changes taking place in the project would be to replace 2 cable barriers with safer beam guards. The project is currently set to take place in 2025. A home in the Midwest has made it into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Coming up, we'll learn about a man's one-of-a-kind collection that's a tip of the cap to his dad. We'll be right back.
Can we really trust him with a car?
Of course we can, Lindsay, with AAA Auto Insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA Auto Insurance and expect something more.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Is the new roof on your spring to-do list?
Hi, I'm Paul, owner of Overhead Solutions. Now is a great time to think ahead and secure a spot for that replacement on our schedule. Go ahead and call our competitors, but before you sign on that dotted line, call Overhead Solutions. I believe our high quality and fair price can beat our competition.
Call Overhead Solutions for a free roof estimate.
Remember, don't overpay. Call Overhead. Overhead Solutions.
Menke Automotive is your new neighbor in central Wisconsin. So now you've got a friend in the auto business. Menke Automotive prides ourselves on having happy employees because happy employees make for happy customers. When you need a new Buick, GMC, or Mazda, expert service, precision body work, or just a hot cup of coffee, come in and get to know us at Menke Automotive at the old Fred Miller location on Grand Avenue in Schofield. Menke Automotive, your new neighbors in central Wisconsin.
Trust him with a car.
Of course we can, Lindsay, with AAA auto insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA auto insurance and expect something more.
Collections come in all shapes and sizes, and very few make it to the Guinness Book of World Records.
But a Minnesota family has a collection that has been in the record book twice. John Lauritsen has the story.
Frigid winters make Frost a fitting name for a Minnesota town.
I always say it was the best place to raise my children.
It's a small community just north of the Iowa border.
Everyone knows everybody, and it's just a fun-loving town.
Fun-loving with one very unique distinction. Frost is home to about 200 people and about 100,000 hats.
Right here behind me on the wall, there's 1,000 hats on display.
And this is just a fraction of what Scott Legret has. His late father, Bucky, started this collection in 1967, and Scott took it over when he passed away. Bucky was a farmer who thought colorful caps of all kinds blended well together, like a melting pot of headwear.
Did he ever wear these hats?
No, he hardly wore a hat. That's the funny thing.
But it didn't stop Bucky's obsession. He was part of a nationwide group of collectors, and when word got out, people sent him more hats than he could handle. So some went on display, while others ended up in boxes. Those boxes filled 3 semi-trailers to the brim.
Implement dealers, seed dealers, feed dealers, oil companies, tool companies.
In this collection, no 2 caps are the same.
But it's not all farm stuff.
No, there's...
A&W. I saw Red Owl back there.
Yep.
You don't see Red Owl anymore.
No, there's anything and everything for companies.
It's history told through hats. Scott estimates that 75% of the companies on this garage wall don't even exist anymore. A sense of pride and preservation for Bucky, but not his biggest accomplishment. You'll find that in Scott's basement.
So you weren't kidding when you said your dad got every John Deere hat from every state.
No. Here's the proof right here. He's got all the states.
And even the Canadian
50,
provinces.
50 states there, yep.
It took Bucky years to amass this collection. John Deere caps from Hawaii and Alaska are included, plus all the Canadian provinces and a variety of other countries. The entire cap collection got Bucky in the Guinness Book of World Records 2 different times. He'd even haul them to senior living centers to entertain people.
The easiest way to describe the relationship is he was my best friend, so... We played together, worked together, farmed together.
And when Bucky passed away in 2011, Scott just couldn't let the hats go.
Sometimes I go looking for them, and sometimes they find me.
People keep sending them to Scott, and he happily accepts because he knows that's what Bucky would do. Every hat makes Scott feel like a part of his dad is still here. It's a tip of the cap to a great father, a great farmer, and a great collector.
Just proud of my father and what he did, and brings back some of the memories of when we went and got hat collections.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
This was brutal murder.
I'm not a snitch, not for free.
He wants to get out of jail free card. He's a Nazi.
I said no. I used our safe word. No jury's gonna believe her.
Sexual assault is sexual assault.
This is Chinatown. Things work a little differently down here.
You know what happens to people who talk to the police?
I'm going to make sure that justice is served.
Dan Kelly and his friends are lying about Judge Janet Protasiewicz.
He wants to scare you because he can't talk about his own record.
Dan Kelly has never sentenced a single criminal to prison. Not one. That's a fact.
And as a private attorney, Kelly got rich defending sex predators who posed as youth ministers to sexually assault young girls.
That's the truth. The bottom line is that Dan Kelly won't keep our community safe. He's an extremist
who doesn't care about us.
Expand your outdoor living space and get 11% off all concrete landscape blocks from Menards. Check out our great selection of patio blocks. Get 4 12x12 patio blocks for just $5 after rebate. Continue your outdoor renovations with Forever Green Crabgrass Preventer and Fertilizer. Designed to prevent crabgrass from growing on your lawn, a 32-pound bag of Crabgrass Preventer with Turf Food Fertilizer is $19.99 after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Furniture and Appliance Mart.
Well, it is a sad and happy day here at Newswatch 12. We are losing a great colleague of ours, Kyle Pazorski. He's moving on. Happy, though, because he has another opportunity. Kyle, we're going to miss you.
Yeah, well, I started here in May of 2021. You know, Saturday will be my last day. It's been a pleasure working with all you guys, so I really appreciate everything you guys have done.
Yeah, and Kyle works weekends, as you know, mostly anchors the weekends, and you're a real class act, man. Thank you so much for all you do around here.
Well, thank you.
You'll be greatly missed. It'll be hard to fill your spot.
Well, we'll see about that.
And
Congratulations.
See, a few people can make me laugh like you do in the newsroom. So I'm thinking Jessica and Jeff, you'll have to step up with your jokes.
Because the two of you have a similar sense of humor. It's very dry, and it catches a lot of people off guard sometimes. But hey, look at there's a picture of Kyle.
Well, just want to say thank you, Kyle, and good luck in Madison, right? That's where we'll be headed next.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, even the controller was waving goodbye to you. There we go. All right, let's check on some weather outside right now. And look at Park Falls. It's kind of showing off some wispy cirrus clouds out there currently. We're melting some snow with temperatures hanging out near 40 in Park Falls currently. And get used to temperatures like that because tomorrow, same story. So more melting snow tomorrow and really kind of near average temperatures next 7 or 8 days. But our next system, that's this thing here. It's making lots of news because it's going to be a close blow for us, but most likely affecting parts of southern Wisconsin on Saturday with snow. You're traveling south on Saturday. Detroit, Chicago, Rockford, Milwaukee all have snow in the forecast for us. Probably a few light snow flurries across our neck of the woods. And then here's your 7 days, so 40s with lots of sunshine tomorrow. That's going to feel good. A lot more clouds on Saturday, a couple flurries in the air. And then Sunday and Monday, we're going to salvage it pretty good with temperatures near 40.
I think a big shock for Kyle is going to be snowy up here, and Madison's got nothing right now.
He's going to miss it fast. Yeah, no snow.
I'm not going to miss the snow.
Come on.
Well, we'll miss you. Congratulations, Kyle.
Yes, Kyle.
That's all the time we have. We'll see you.